Hey Wikians, I'm Brandon Ray from Star Wars Fanpedia, and we're here for a special edition of the Wikia Expert Showcase. I'm talking today with Jason Fry, the author of a number of different Star Wars books, including one of my favorite, The Essential Atlas, and a number of books about the Clone Wars. And the Clone Wars is what I wanted to talk to you about today.
Sounds good.
20 years from now, how do you think the Clone Wars will be remembered? Will it be a major part of Star Wars franchise, or do you think it'll be forgotten, more like the 1980s TV specials?
I suspect it'll be remembered as the first major Star Wars TV show. I mean, there have been ones before, Droids, Ewoks, the micro-series that we've all loved, but nothing on that scale. And with Rebels coming up, I think that this is only the beginning for Star Wars and TV, however it's delivered. So I'm sure 20 years from now we will have seen a number of such shows over a number of time periods, and we'll look back at Clone Wars as the beginning of that kind of endeavor. At least I hope so, because that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'd be pretty great. So the end of the Clone Wars seems to signal, at least to me, the end of the prequel era on screen. That era is sometimes derided by fans. Also 20 years from now, and especially going into the new movies. What do you think the influence, the legacy of the prequel era and the Clone Wars era will be on the rest of the franchise?
I wouldn't say that the Clone Wars show in that era will really have a legacy so much as, to me, it's part of what's made Star Wars great before, and I think it'll be seen in that regard. And what do I mean by that is, I think at its best, the Clone Wars show had really terrific storytelling and really deep characterizations. Did it hit those marks every time? No, I mean no show can, but at its best I thought it was real big-hearted storytelling and ways of enriching our knowledge and awareness of the characters. For instance, I think a lot of fans were surprised when at the beginning of the show we found out, wow, Anakin Skywalker has a Padawan. Who saw that one coming? But I think by the end I had come to really appreciate Ahsoka as an interesting character, watching her go from kind of bratty youngling to full-fledged, mature Jedi on the brink of knighthood. And I think we learned a lot about Anakin from watching her character develop and seeing how he struggled with teaching another Jedi. I think that gave us a deeper appreciation of him and the tragedy of his fall. That was the show at its best, and to me that fits perfectly with everything we love about Star Wars. So I think it fits very well in that framework and that tradition.
Yeah, absolutely. And today there's a big Star Wars Rebels panel, so we're about to see the future of Star Wars television a bit more. Do you anticipate, or do you want to see any part of the Clone Wars that wasn't resolved continued in that show?
I would leave that up to the creators, which, is a great creative team. Like you, I'm really excited to see today and in the future what they come up with. But, every show has to exist on its own merits, and I just don't know enough about Rebels to know, is it a sequel, a continuation of Clone Wars, or is it something different? But we'll all find out. But, I've really enjoyed what this team has done, so I trust them how they're going to go forward, and we'll all see what happens.
Great, and you'll also be part of the Return of the Jedi panel tomorrow, as I understand it. So you've learned a bit about the behind-the-scenes making of Return of the Jedi, and I'm interested, what's the most interesting fact that you never knew before about the making of Return of the Jedi that you could share with fans?
For me, what's really interesting about that book and the two making of books that preceded it isn't really so much an individual fact, it's just understanding from those books just how difficult this was. That it's a miracle that Star Wars ever got made. It's a miracle that Empire or Jedi came to the screen, and really understanding what a struggle it was and seeing how the movies emerged from all that. So that's what I really enjoyed about it.
That's great. I'm looking forward to hearing more tomorrow. I think that does it for this edition of the Wikia Expert Showcase. Thank you, Jason, for being here today. I really appreciate it. And have a great Comic-Con to everybody who's here.